back, sir. Adroit looking fantastic in game one. Game two, Adroit, TNC, they kind of struggled a little bit, right, in that game number one. Game two, what do you think they need to do differently?
They've got to be a bit careful getting caught in a draft trap like last time. It wasn't completely an outdraft, but they got pushed down way too hard. Their supports needed too much time to really build up, right? You were looking at a Phoenix and a Shaker support duo. It just doesn't come online fast enough, and the push was way too fast. So
Right.
maybe balance that out with faster support picks. You don't want March and Tim's waiting around for levels and items. They do ban out a few key heroes, so the Beastmaster being taken out does mean Adroit's push isn't going to be as wild, and they do shake it up in the draft already.
Yeah, I like the fact that they banned out that Beastmaster, denying that kind of push lineup that Adroit seems to love running. Of course, Adroit again banned out the Chen themselves because they don't want to really give that over to March, which is also fair enough. And so they go for the first pick Ember. TNC will naturally snap pick the Grimstroke for themselves because they don't want to give that combination away. But if you are Adroit now for that second pick, you are looking towards that Keeper of the Light. And it is a pretty strong combination. You know, having a spammable Sleight of Fist is nothing to scoff at. And I don't think TNC will be able to get both. Instead, they will go for what seems to be a POS 3 Abaddon, from my eyes right now. And Adroit arguably should maybe just take themselves a coddle.
Yeah, there's no reason not to right now.
Ooh.
They go with a Shaker instead. So
Right.
they want to be the ones fighting in. They want to be the ones forcing out these team fights. I think that's still pretty solid. They haven't completely locked their draft in, so you still see that flexibility with the Ember Spirit and where it's going to go in lane. And the Shaker as well has some flex, although more than likely just going to be straight up the Boomy hero. Of course, we've seen him play that a lot. So it's a different opening from both sides. I have to say though, with TNC, the Abaddon does not give me too much confidence. We've seen TNC go into this Abaddon before, 4 KP. Its performance isn't too bad. I think the hero itself is just not in a great spot.
Right.
Like, its sustain is nice, the purge is nice, but if you're not up against something like the Bat Rider, the utility of that shield is really up in the air.
I mean, it's kind of okay up against the ES Ember, though, right? Like, you've got the chains and the stuns that you can purge off with the Aphotic Shield, but I do agree that there's no real big ultimate that you're looking at to try and purge off with that Aphotic Shield for now. And considering you did choose that Abaddon, you're not really going to see that kind of big ulti that can be purged off from Adroit at this point coming out up against the Abaddon. So TNC, they see the Earthshaker, they take the Rubik, pretty standard stuff. I'm kind of shocked that Adroit didn't go ahead and ban out that Rubik in the 5th ban, but you know what, judging by their performance in game 1, I don't think they're too afraid of TNC right now. They were just running at them. They just didn't care. Every single time, whether there was ultis up or not, they just didn't mind. They were just happy to run. How long has it been since we've seen a blink rush on an Enigma?
It's been a while.
It never happens. It never happens anymore, apart from if Boomy's playing it, apparently. So I just don't think that they're afraid of this Rubik at all. And in some weird way, you've kind of forced out a very weak support duo in a Grimstroke Rubik as well. It's not the greatest support duo you could ask for TNC here. So Adroit, in all honesty, I think they're very clearly winning this draft already.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of value with their openings as well. They pick up the Enchantress, which, you know, none of these heroes really do too much. I guess Rubik is pretty nice to drop the damage, but having that constant impetus spam that the Abaddon can't really stop and just loses his shield to is already a lot of value. You don't have anything to counteract the creep summons as well. So that's a lot of value there for push from Adroit. TNC does come back with Lesh. So they're giving themselves a bit of an earlier power spike. With the Lesh Abaddon, it doesn't take too long for it to come online. You've got a great target to keep alive now. So the Lesh can constantly dish out the damage and perhaps melt some early towers as well. That is a bit of an issue TNC had with their Game 1 draft. They couldn't do anything about objectives.
Do you think this is a core Enchantress? Or are they going to run it as a pos
Hmm.
5? That's my question here, because we did see Core Enchantress yesterday, and I believe it did actually work out quite fine. Uh, this time around, however, I don't know if it will be that pos 3 Enchantress we saw yesterday. It kind of seems like they're just going to run it as a position 5 up
Hmm.
against that Abaddon and just blow up the shield every time with, one impetus. Just blow up that Aphotic shield, make sure that KP can't run in feeling like he can't die. Uh, I don't know. It could be an offlane Enchantress again. It's a possibility. I guess it's a flex pick in and of itself, but there's definitely better offlanes to pick.
Yeah, for sure. I think the support you of Shaker Enchantress isn't the strongest, to be honest, but in that case, you're giving the Shaker a lot of space because Enchantress is very selfless. So if they are going to go that route, I can see it really benefiting Boomy. We saw it in game one with his Enigma. They just wait for the blink, they wait for the BKB, and then they start fighting. In this case, it's the blink for the Shaker, and of course, Morphling Shaker
Right.
just came out.
How ironic, right? Running Morph Shaker up against TNC. How the tables have
Oh
turned.
man.
TNC, they should be very well aware of how to play against this. I don't think they'll have a problem with that. The issue is, I don't think they have the heroes to go up against the Morphling. You really
No.
don't have anyone to control the Morphling to really burst him down fast enough. It seems like he's always going to be able to get that strength morph off. And maybe with this last pick, they change things up a little bit. But we are just waiting for an RML, or in fact, never mind RML hero. We're looking for a Gabby hero. I just don't see what you pick up here to go up against that morph to really be able to knock him out of these team fights.
Yeah, it's really tricky. You would want maybe something like the PL, but it can be dicey up against Shaker, although there are ways to counteract that. I don't think they're going to be dipping back to that PL. You do still need a way to match up against Morph, and it's just pretty tricky. Adroit has kind of covered their bases nicely. Maybe TNC goes into the Ricky. Like we saw them do that a couple of times. The silence can
It was first
make
banned.
it a bit. All right. Yeah, no. They've I know, like the only heroes like that comes to my mind that TNC falls back to is something like the Terrorblade, and I wouldn't want to see that here for
Mm-mm.
sure.
Definitely not the Terrorblade. Not this game.
No.
Uh, Morphling doesn't care for the Terrorblade anyway. You just go
He
shotgun
likes it.
build. Yeah, loves it. Let's get a
Yeah, he gets
free
a free metamorphosis. Yeah.
Even better. They'll ban out the Slark. That's really the only concern they have. Someone who can still stats off the Morphling. Fair
Mm.
enough. And Adroit now, their final pick, they're looking for some kind of offlane or pos 5, depending on where this Enchantress is going to go. I'm sure they'll just choose a different offlane for Ben Soy, though. I don't think they want him on something like an Enchantress.
Nah. It's it can work, but considering how strong their lineup is, you would want a bit more. We have seen Ben Soy Ravage. That was a pseudo support.
Right.
Like it ended up just being underfarmed. I think that would fit into this lineup pretty nicely. It just gives them so much control. You have to be careful of the Rubik though, of course, but again, they've already got to worry about the Shaker into the Rubik, so
Right.
if Adroit's that confident, I don't think the tide's too bad here.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
okay.
Phoenix pops out, so that could be a core Enchantress. That could be a core Phoenix. I doubt it's a core Phoenix. It looks like it is probably going to be that pos 3 Enchantress. I suppose it could
Just
go
gives them so
either
much
way.
control.
They,
You
they
have
still
to be
have it
careful of the
flexible
Rubik,
there
though,
for those two
of course,
options.
but again,
TNC, however, their final pos 1 pick. You brought up the peel. I really do feel like that's their only option here. But again, you're into a shaker. Even the morphling can morph into the peel, and that can be very, very frustrating to deal with. Just giving doppelganger away to a morphling is not a good idea.
no, no. And even the Ember deals with that well, so I'm not sure if that's really a strong option for TNC. But again, their pool has been limited. It's just down to how they drafted. They
You,
need something that has more impact.
you could see something like an Ursa pop out. You just run the Inkswell
Hmm.
Ursa combo. I mean, I don't think it's great up against the morphling, but what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
There's a Phoenix
Yeah.
there. You can burst the egg down. If you can get to that point where you have an Abyssal, you could burst the morphling down as an Ursa. You have that natural lane combo with the Grimstroke. I wouldn't blame them. You already have a Leshrac there. It's a very fast-paced sort of lineup, and they do.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's one of the only options, but it's still not something I like here. It's gonna be susceptible to kiting. You've already got to worry about the Shaker. You've got the chains from the Ember. You've got the Enchantress who's just gonna kite you around as well. And there's a lot of mobility in Adroit's kit, like Ember Spirit,
Yeah.
mobile, Morphling's highly mobile, Phoenix is mobile, and it looks like Bensoy is on the Phoenix. So I'm wondering how Adroit's going to split that farm. We've seen Bensoy on this position before. He's on a pause tree that ends up not getting farm, and you do see that spill into Boomy and CML instead. So there's still some flexibility with the farm timing here from Adroit. I do have to say TNC's draft looks a lot better than game one. They're not leaving themselves in certain holes. I still feel like Adroit's draft is better overall, though.
Oh, I'd have to. I mean, I don't think there's any doubt about that, John. It does look a lot better now. If TNC can get the start going, if they can get Gabby some farm, get him a bit of momentum on this Ursa with Armel, I think they have a good chance of pulling off this victory. But if Adroit just play the way they played in game one, I don't think TNC have a chance. Not with this kind of draft.
They just play so aggressively. TNC's lineup doesn't take too much farm. That's one great thing about having these kinds of cores. It's just the pace from Adroit is really, really fast.
Mac. Gives them the loser.
Oh, man.
I love Adroit. I love how they're not intimidated by a big team like TNC. They just give it to them all the time. I can respect that.
Prepare for battle.
This dual lane coming out from Adroit is interesting. Morphling Ench.
Yeah.
I mean, it does happen. It can be potent. I like the start from CML. Of course, Blightstone straight up. Just gonna abuse that range. Up against an Abaddon, there isn't any range. So you can expect a lot of early damage coming out. I'm sure Tim's will try to make that a bit harder, but he's not going to enjoy trading with the Enchantress as well.
Well, here we go. It's a interesting lane. The thing is with the Enchantress, though, you just dominate the lane. Like, it's not... That's all she does. She just wins the lane for the morph. I mean, we kind of talked about the Enchantress up against the Abaddon. You just throw the impetus, blow up the shield, make it so you don't have KP just running up to Natsumi and auto attacking to try and get that curse off. CML, though, surprisingly enough, has run down to the bot lane now.
30 seconds to battle.
I wonder what they're up to here. Are they going to run a tri lane?
Could be looking at First Blood at least. It is fairly potent, although I don't think you really want to force it out too much. There's a lot of control in TNC at level 1 as well.
Well, they're going to start going. Mac going to join in as well. Who do they want to aim for? I think March is your best bet here. Boomy still holding onto the Fisher.
Oh, yeah.
Gets a perfect block off. And Mac, it's the dream of every mid laner when they're young, John. Getting first blood before the game starts. And that's going to mean Mac can buy a very, very early bottle.
Yeah, this does force him into level 1 slight, but that's really not too bad considering you are up against Armel anyway. So it's a really good start for Adroit, just giving themselves a lot more gold to play with and helping them win out their crucial 1v1 mid lane. Like, Mac does set a lot of that early pace for the team.
Are they really going to leave the Morphling up top by himself, though? Like, CML is still down at the bot lane. Bensoy and Boomy are there as well. They're running a bit of a tri-lane here up against Gabby. Of course, March is going to be there to help on the Grimstroke, but if you're going to run a tri-lane here up against this TNC draft, I don't think they can make the Inkswell combo work with the Ursa. He won't be able to do anything.
Yeah, I think this is perfectly fine for Adroit. Like, Natsumi is not going to die to an Abaddon. At least not until maybe level 3 when KB can run up and hit. But before then, it's just going to be a farming lane for him anyway.
And March just gets forced out of his own lane. Of course, CML can just harass him out.
Oh,
And
Gabby.
now, great Fisher out from Boomy. Gabby does jump over that Fisher and uses it to his advantage. Meanwhile, March has had to run around the world to get back into his bot lane. Does get a nice pull off while he's coming back in.
Radiant's top tower.
But CML is going to be very disruptive. And I actually do like this, because you're ruining the one good combination TNC really has. But they are going to end it now. Looks like CML will TP up to the top lane. And that's the thing, if you're going to run the tri lane, you might be sacking Natsumi on the morph, which is really what you don't want. And they will bring CML up to make sure he has a good time.
Yeah, it's still not the worst of starts for Natsumi. I think he missed out a wave, but he's playing conservatively. And once again, Philippine internet.
Oh, I never thought the day would come where I would be the one with the better internet. I really didn't.
Yeah, it's really easy when you're in Southeast Asia, Mike, or when you're with Southeast Asians, although KP playing a bit aggressive.
He is.
Not quite enough.
He's an Abaddon. You know, he can do that. The problem is his shield really isn't going to last very long, but now a nice lift in from Tim's. CML with that Curse of Avernus on him is in big trouble, but a nice stun out from Natsumi. Tim's Fade Bolt not going to be available for a while, and so they won't bother. Mind you, CML is still at that level 1 point, so it's not like he can actually go for the heal. He'll just have to slowly heal himself up with some tangos.
Yeah, this is hurting his laning presence, but I guess Natsumi is not going to mind too much. Again, his farm is starting to suffer, though.
Well, Gabby ends up finding Ben Soy down at the bot lane. And it was that Inkswell Earthshock combination. No, it wasn't actually. Gabby just kind of Earthshocked, and March doesn't even have the Inkswell leveled up. So Gabby, nice pickup for him. Ben Soy had the Icarus dive, doesn't actually commit it though. Meanwhile, Natsumi almost gets hit by a Fade Bolt there from Tims to cancel that salve off. Very close call, but he will be okay.
Yeah, and you can see TNC starting to apply that laning pressure they want. KP's Abaddon is really starting to impact Natsumi's farm, although it's not like he's lagging behind KP too much. It's just a 1 CS difference, and I think when you're a Morphling in that kind of situation with this kind of lane, you're still going to be okay with this situation.
Oh, of course. Well, the Morphling doesn't care if KP's finding any form of farm. He's just going to keep farming himself. It's a Morphling after all. He's just going to have a great old time later on in this game. So Gabby is having a decent old time himself though, right? He's got 16 last hits right now on that Ursa. He found 1 kill, and he's not really being contested right now. And that could be a real big problem for Adroit later on. Because the Morphling won't be able to fight back up against the Ursa through that mid game, right? Like, the Morphling does require a lot more farm. If Gabby can find that early Abyssal, TNC could start running over Adroit.
Yeah, it's certainly one of the winning factors for TNC is just getting that early farm up in Gabby, and he is saving up for the early Battle Fury, which will accelerate that farm. They have to ensure that Gabby's not going to get punished for that kind of farming build, though.
Inkswell placed on himself. He should still die here. Ben Soy picks up that kill, but Icarus dive is not available right now, and that means Gabby should be able to find a secondary kill, but Boomy delaying things. It won't be enough. And I think that actually favors Gabby here on the side of TNC, right? Like, you don't mind losing March like that. In fact, if you find Boomy, you're going to be even happier. Meanwhile, Tims does get CML off the top lane, but Gabby is still chasing down Boomy. He will eventually let that go. Natsumi did manage to at least get Tims as a trade on that Ruby. So both POS 1s right now enjoying some very nice kills for themselves.
Yeah, they are getting a lot more in these exchanges, although, again, there is still a slight lead for Adroit overall in terms of net worth. Not much. It's still fairly even, 3-3. I think TNC just needs to hit some EXP points. You've got 6 up and running on Armel, but Mac is level 6 as well. So that mid lane kill potential for both sides is fairly even. You have to look to Mac maybe getting a side lane rotation out.
It's going to be the fight over that 6-minute power rune, it seems. Mac actually going to chase down Armel. Armel very low in terms of mana. Power rune not going to be there. Nice Fisher out. Mac, Stroke of Fate does miss as well, but Tim's, he will have enough. And that was unfortunate for Mac because he actually had the Remnant at the right spot prior to remnanting down to the southern power rune spot, but yeah, he goes for the wrong one. He could have had a double damage.
Yeah, he did kind of play himself, although Boomy with that does hit really hard.
Well, he does. Tim's trapped up right now, and CML will be able to pick up the kill. They do at least, you know, get a kill going for them on the side of Adroit, but you just don't want to lose your Ember like that.
Nah. It does still slow down Mac, and of course you are giving Armel more gold to play with, which isn't optimal. Like the Leshrac, once it has the Yules, is going to be a lot harder to deal with, is going to constantly pump out the damage, and TNC at this point looking to play aggressive.
Nice lift up on the Earthshaker, but now he's surrounded. Not quite bursted, however. They're unable to make the dive down to secure that kill on the Rubik. But they do manage to at least get Boomy out of there.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things Adroit has to start playing around, is protecting Boomy. He's saving up straight up for the blink now. So it's around that time when the Shaker does start to get a bit more farm priority. And I think Adroit's going to have to wait out for that item pickup before committing to bigger fights, although Tim's...
Yeah, gets enchanted up. Going to try and run away, but he's already committed that lift, and that means Boomy can easily set up for another kill. And Boomy does pick up the kill as well. And I was going to say, you definitely want to give that kill away to Boomy right now, because any bit of gold will really help.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Yeah.
Bot lane, Ben Soy, going to get chased down. Inkswell won't end up stunning him up before he does get the Icarus dive. So Gabby, not finding the kill, but he will be able to just get back to farming. Interestingly enough, though, he is going for the Battle Fury build. Ben Soy in a bit of trouble, doesn't have that dive. Gabby trying to secure this kill, but getting juked out right now. He's running the wrong way, and that's because Mac is around on that Ember. It was all a bait from Ben Soy. And they secured a very, very important kill here on the side of Adroit. And Mac now will just go ahead and secure that creep wave by the neutral creeps. If we could just go back a second, John, that Battle Fury build on the Ursa, not sure if that's really going to pay off up against the Morphling.
Yeah, I get why they're going for it. We see this a lot from Ursus, although Egg has been committed first. March?
Let's get the stun
yeah,
off.
he's gone.
March just barely on the outer edge of that Egg. Does get stunned up, and Mac picks up another kill on the Ember. And with that, they're going to start pressuring that bottom tier 1 tower.
And this is one of the things that Adroit has better than TNC on their off lanes. KP at 6 doesn't contribute in the same way. He gets tankier, he can cop a couple of ganks or just cop the attention, but he's not giving you a big teamfight utility spell. So he's just maintaining this lane up against Natsumi, and Natsumi's still finding farm.
That he is. They are going to come down to the bot lane, TNC. They know Mac's around there somewhere. So is Ben Soy, currently showing on that Phoenix. Now they both show in front of that tier 1 tower, but you just don't have the lockdown for Mac, I don't believe. Gabby will get started. Mac will remnant away. Armel coming in with that lightning, but it just does nothing. And this is just not great news for TNC, as they're making all these big rotations, but they're not capitalizing on it at all. And they found the bounty rune at least, I guess, but that's only one bounty.
Yeah. And they lose
Now
KP as
Natsumi.
well.
Yeah, they secure the Abaddon kill.
They lost KP, they lost the top tier 1. Adroit is slowly chipping away on the map, and TNC, they're still waiting for a lot more to come out. Like, we were talking about the Battle Fury, and we never finished that conversation, but we see Ursus do this all the time. Rush the Battle Fury, try to play the farming game. It's just that this helps Adroit a lot more, because that's just more time for Natsumi to work on the shotgun, and we talked about kiteability of the Ursa. Once the shotgun's up, you have a lot more to worry about. because your timing on the enrage has to be on point. Otherwise, even if you're not blown up, you are going to be disarmed. And that's just as bad for an Ursa.
Yeah, I really thought he was going to just try and go into the Basher, and then the Abyssal to have some control there for Natsumi and the rest of the gang on Adroit, but Battle Fury is going to be the build. That's just going to make it so they play a very slow game up against Adroit. You look at Gabby's farm, it's not exactly the top right now. Right now, Mac and Natsumi are sitting at the top of that net worth board. Still, top tier 1 tower going to be under siege now from TNC, but Mac is there. A great chains out. Egg has been dropped as well. Armel, he will fall low, but barely does survive in the end. Mac would love to keep going, but they are just way too far apart. But TNC now, they go for a bit of a reset. Back into Mac. He shouldn't expect this, but Split Earth does not connect. But they just want that tier 1 tower. TNC, they will be able to take it. However, Gabby gonna find CML. Adroit do not feel confident to try and fight back, so that was actually a very, very nice rotation from Gabby. He gets himself a free kill.
It's a nice, easy pick-off for TNC. They do manage to capture the outpost up top as well, but Adroit are just gonna avoid for the rest. They are still giving Natsumi that space down, but you are seeing him save up into an SNY. So Natsumi's the one who wants to play fast compared to Gabby. He actually just wants to run in, right-click off, and start killing heroes early on.
You've got to love that from Adroit though, right? They're always this team in SCA that goes for the very, very unique kind of drafts and item builds. How often do you see an SNY build on a Morphling, of all things?
Yeah, it's not very common, although.
Mid lane, Boomy setting up for a big team fight. KP going to be in big, big trouble. Mac is going to be able to really clean up here and does find a double kill. It's 3 heroes going down for the side of TNC once again, and Adroit can now start pressuring that mid-tier 1 tower.
Yeah, and they should be able to get a good amount of damage. That's going to be great control coming in. Boomy gets a big slam. He doesn't have the blink yet. He has it now.
Uh-oh.
So, if that's what he was doing without the blink, I'd hate to see what happens at TNC after.
He's one of those players, he just has fantastic positioning. It's very hard to know where he is at all times, and he just knows when to go in at that perfect moment. CML gonna avoid a gank attempt there from TNC. Now TNC are gonna smoke up. They are gonna bring Gabby along with them. And Gabby is very close to finishing off that Battle Fury, but hasn't quite got it off yet. They are going to head down bot where Natsumi is in the Morphling, but he's already backing out as well, and it's a very, very nice scan out from Adroit. Just perfectly placed. And they'll be out of there.
Yeah, and they really are just dancing around the map, wasting TNC's time, and it's all just working in the favor of Adroit. They've got nice deep wards as well, so they should know where TNC is now that the smoke fades, and they can choose to try to force something out, although looks like they are just happy finding farm. I mean, you're building up in the Morphling, you're building up on your Ember, who's going straight for the Desolator build, which I love when you work into a right-click morph as well. So all the damage in the world will be coming out fairly soon for Adroit.
That it will. Now Mac actually going to rotate straight into Armel. Does get the Courier of March. Armel trying to build into a Bloodstone, it seems, on that Leshrac, but in terms of Leshrac farm, as it goes, it's been a bit slow for him. Mid lane, KP going to get chased down now. A great Fisher out from Boomy, blocking KP on that low ground. Nice Soulbind out from March. KP, though, still burning right now. No borrowed time left for him. He's just trying to run away, but Mac, do you want to keep going? No, the answer is not. He does back off. You can really see the strength there from that Fisher from Boomy. He's this Earthtaker that constantly just ends up finding these amazing fishes during a team fight that just blocks everyone off. In fact, right now, he gets another nice block off on Tim's. Lift up on the Ember. Mac, he's going to try and fight back. Sunray going to be there. Tim should eventually just burn out. He's still trying to fight back, but no, he does go down. Mac, however, does not want to die like this. Boomy jumps in with the enchant totem, and now the echo. He waits for the creep wave. It's so much damage up from Boomy into the egg of Ben Soy, and Mac gets out of there scot-free.
Is under attack.
Oh, what an echo slam from Boomy.
Is under attack.
Oh man, I love the patience coming out there. Like, he just waited. KP just blew up right next to him, and he can't even find the Ember who is low. Adroit, once more, dancing around TNC. TNC, they've got to wait for these item buildups. Gabby has to be a bit careful. Needs to save up for the BKB. He's trying to go in.
They're just going to chase him down. CML is very, very low right now. Gabby is trying to juke his way out of this tree line from Mac. And he does manage the TP up.
Tower has fallen.
You've got that Battle Fury up. It's just not going to be quite enough yet.
No, definitely not. It's just to speed up the farm. The BKB will be nice, but I think more importantly, you probably want the Blinker Abyssal coming out right after. You just need a way to go in, pin someone down, and blow them up immediately. And TNC doesn't have that. They're going to have to wait a little bit longer for Gabby to find that farm. Adroit should be aware, though. They need to kind of slow down Gabby. If they do give an opportunity there, it could swing if TNC finds some key pickoffs.
How do they find them, though? Like, the lockdown's still the big problem here for TNC. The best you've got right now is Lift, and you've got Armel Yules into stun. That's really all you've got. You could make the argument the Inkswell's there as well from March, but it hasn't really been working out that way now. Well, Gabby trying to go for a Roshan, but he gets scouted out by CML, and Boomy's in there as well. With the Sunray from Ben Soy, he's taking out the Inkswell, however, may help out. Matt jumps in. They found CML, but they're going to lose Gabby. And now, Armel, there's no way out of this situation. He is definitely dying. And Mac is already looking for another target. Natsumi gonna be there as well. They burst down March. And on top of all that, it looks like they'll also find KP. Another Fisher block on KP. He's gonna try and run away. He does have borrowed time, but they're just gonna follow him. Just stalk the prey. And almost at that high ground, but not quite. Mac will be able to secure the kill for the team. And John, they've got a Roshan to take. There's a double damage waiting for them. TNC started it, gets the Roshan warmed up. Ben Soy thinking about denying the power rune, but he won't. Mac will kill him if he did. And Natsumi will take the double damage.
Yeah, look at how much he hits. 190 plus 190. That's without his rate bands as well, so it's going to be a very quick take. And we haven't even really seen Natsumi fully topped up. Like, he's saving for the Yags for the Shaker combination. Although,
yeah, jumps in again. Boomy with the fish shot. Natsumi is there as well. And Gabby gonna get controlled up, is gonna die. And Boomy is getting all the tips this game.
Whew. I mean, you have to. That slam was perfect. TNC clump up on the high ground. They know there's a Shaker. They were a lot more disciplined about the black hole spacing last game. This time around, Boomy is just eating them up.
We've seen this so many times from Boomy as well. He just tends to be able to land those big echoes every time. And now Adroit gonna go for that mid-tier 2 tower. It's going to be a very easy tower to take because you have that Deso, you have all this auto attack damage from Natsumi, and
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
well, Adroit just continuing to take map control here, and TNC. It's hard to know what you can get done here.
Yeah, it's just way too slow coming out. They have a lot to wait for.
Let's stun up on KP. Fisher will not connect this time. KP should be fine anyway. He has the borrowed time. You do have Mac coming in though. An egg was being committed as well from Ben Soy. little fights going on all across the map right now, it seems. Even March
Oh.
trying to fight
Oh.
back against Mac, but Mac just gets the kill. Just cancels off the TP, gets the chains off, and it was that easy.
You can't stand up against Mac. Like, he's got the Dezo, of course, the Blade Mail gives him more damage. He's building into the crit stick, into the Daedalus. So he is just going all in on right clicks, and can't even really just toy with him right now as a support. And you look at that build up on Natsumi, the Ags, I think, is coming in. There you go. So Shaker Morphling time.
Uh-oh.
It wasn't silly enough. It's gonna get a bit sillier now.
Oh, I love it.
Up against TNC.
Up against TNC. and the thing is as well, we're only 21 minutes in, John. Natsumi's got Sergeant Yasha, Morbid Mask, Treads, Want, and fucking Aghanim Scepter. Excuse my French, and it's insanity.
It is.
It is
There you go.
insanity. Like, his farm is crazy right now. He's sitting at 12.5k, and
You could just blow someone up.
here we go. Fisher, perfect from Natsumi. Another Fisher
There you
from Boomy. Just make the wall bigger. And
Oh,
now
boy.
Tim's getting jumped on. Is gonna die.
Oh no.
Bang. Natsumi just one hit. Finds another.
Oh,
March.
man.
March,
March.
you've got to run away. You know what this combo does, sir. You've drafted this many times. Soulbind is going to be there, however. Silence is out as well.
Dire's top tower
Can they secure these kills? They would be big deals here for TNC, but no, Ben Soy, you just don't have the lockdown. He's literally just running away right now. Shield does explode. Ben Soy just uses the Icarus dive and gets out of there.
Oh man, this is just getting even tougher. You've got the disarm on Ben Soy, so even if Gabby's around to right click, he's not gonna get any hits off.
Radiant's
Oh
Natsumi.
man,
Yep, back in there.
that tower damage.
It's a lot of tower damage. Fisher out. March explodes. TNC trying their best to defend this tier 3 tower.
Radiant structures are fortified.
Mac is just so confident right now. Has the Crystallis up as well as the Daedalus, as the Desolator. Smoke gonna be there from TNC. It's the only way they can really initiate into this team fight.
Tower has fallen. Dire's top tower is under attack.
Ooh.
Oh, there's the stun. KP gonna have that borrowed time popped. Another great Fisher out, though. Great stun out, and well, they get the
Oh.
Aegis. That's a big start, but now Mac, he'll just jump in. Gabby does take care of the X, so Ben Soy is also gonna die, but Mac's the real problem. He found a double, but Gabby, he finds a double as well. They have lost the melee barracks, but they are finding kills. Boomy gets a Fisher, a follow-up Fisher coming out. More Fishers, there's a third Fisher from Tim's.
Oh man.
Radiant's bottom barracks.
And they come in, they clean up that racks.
Radiant's bottom barracks has fallen.
And Adroit, they apparently aren't done yet, John. They want to keep going.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Yeah, I mean, why not? They have the damage. The respawns aren't going to be too long, and they know TNC can't really do too much about it, although they will back off now, play a bit more conservatively. You take a look at Natsumi saving up for the shotgun next. So now no one's going to survive when he comes in. They're really just gone. There's no way you live through this one. Oh?
And Natsumi's
Uh-oh.
way. Oh no. TNC, no,
Oh, no.
they have all the vision. The Fisher's there.
Oh,
Boomy
no.
jumps in for the Echo again. Oh, it's the calm before the storm, John. They just wait so patiently, and well, in the back lines, Gabby does BKB TP away. KP also gets out of there. I'm starting to learn a very valuable lesson here today, John. Apparently, you cannot give Adroit Echoes, Adroit the Earthshaker. It's a big problem.
Oh no. You never do. Boomy is just so comfy in that hero. I'd say it's his signature. That and the Enigma. So the fact that Adroit's been able to pick up those heroes, you're asking for trouble from Adroit if you let them have those.
Tower has fallen.
Natsumi just goes in for the mid racks.
Are under attack.
his whole team isn't even with him right now. Currently, KP is trying to get away from Boomy. He can't TP because he knows that it'll be cancelled. So KP just going to keep running. His Rax is under siege. March will die. Armel will die. Gabby the only one left. KP does finally get the TP off, but now the chains are out from Mac, just controlling both these heroes. March, he'll buy back. But again, I ask the question, how do you defend?
You can't. At least they're not gonna get Megas just yet. There's a tier 2 still waiting, but it's not gonna live too long. And TNC, they need to find a way to defend. It's just, they don't have the best high ground here. There's not much team fight coming out. You've got the Scotty up now on Natsumi, so just more stats and more
Oh,
damage.
look at this Fisher. They trap him between two rocks. Now they jump in. They find March again. It's a dieback on the Grimstroke. Tim's is also to go down. Gabby trying to fight back. He gets the egg. He might find Boomy, but no. There'll be a Yule's out. Gabby will run out of enrage and he will die. And that'll be a GG call being made from TNC. Adroit get a 2-0 to start off their day.
Oh yeah, it's a great start for Adroit. Not the best for TNC. It has been a rough few months for TNC, and man, it's to have the Shaker Morph picked against you as TNC, and to get beat out by it. That is rough. But TNC, they've got another series up next, Mike, up against Boom Esports, if I recall right.
boy.